Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Good morning, folks. The sun is shining high atop West Michigan, downtown Grand Rapids, and we are live. Barely hanging by a thread. No, it wasn't the election night festivities. It was the beautiful baby girl who's just a week old keeping me up last night. I did peek here and there. I did make it out to a couple events, and we will unpack it all this morning. And it's going to be a tendency. Oh, man. I've read the messages. I've read the emails. I know there's going to be a tendency to be just absolutely deflated in a lot of ways, but we still have some things that we got to take stock of. We've got some things that we've got to celebrate. We'll talk about those. Find the glimpses, the rays of sunshine among the darkness. We'll get into that coming up. Hang on.
Weather and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
All right, the stories that matter most. Should be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. These are the stories you may not even hear anywhere else. Imagine that. Powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Call my buddy Dave Galloway. Now's the time. Put a little bit more money back in your pocket, especially if you have some equity in that home. The cost of bills and everything up through the roof. He can help you. 616-974-9105 or online at hhmlending.com.
Number one.
Number of media outlets projecting Governor Gretchen Whitmer as the winner here in Michigan last night. She made a statement earlier this morning, and then Tudor Dixon, her challenger, Republican, conceded just moments ago that race to Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Here is that statement from Tudor, posted online, and her folks. I called Governor Whitmer this morning to concede and wish her well. Michigan's future, the success rests not in elected officials or government, but in all of us. It is incumbent upon all of us to help our children read, support law enforcement, and grow our economy. More on that and many other races throughout the state, the proposals, and more coming up in just moments as well. The battle for control of Congress, it still hangs in the balance. Yeah, both the House and the Senate still hanging. Results continuing to trickle in from crucial midterm contests. Republicans picking up several different seats in the House, but results still out on many races throughout the country. Each party still has 48 seats, last I checked, in the Senate. And of course, these numbers, they can change any time. So we'll keep you updated. We see that 4 races still yet to be called. They called Fetterman for the winner in Pennsylvania. As wild as that sounds. Here in Michigan, Heisinger, Molinar, Skolton projected. John Gibbs in his campaign making the statement, we believe this call is premature. 20 more votes outstanding, and we expect the vote count to go well into Wednesday. There were issues in the vote count. There were issues in the voting. Folks heard, felt, saw it all from Michigan to Arizona, all across the country. We'll talk about those as well. Hang on.
Number 2.
Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis easily winning re-election. Kemp in Georgia beating Stacey Abrams. Abbott beating Beto. Robert Francis O'Rourke. That guy, you kind of feel bad for him at some point. Sarah Huckabee Sanders wins in Arkansas, the first female governor of that state, making history. Oh, and one other sad detail today.
Number 3.
It's a rough morning at Facebook. Parent company Meta laying off 11,000 employees. Wow. Big layoffs at Twitter, too. It's never fun to see anybody lose their job. That's just not ever anything you want to celebrate. But, boy, the timing of all of it is interesting. And I know companies like to do big layoffs around timing of other big news stories, so they kind of get swept underneath the radar and the rug here, and I think that may have been what part of the plan was with Facebook. I remember there was inauguration day for Barack Obama years ago, and there's a radio company laid off a lot of folks that day. Bloodbath. Senator Raphael Warnock in Georgia, Republican challenger Herschel Walker will likely head to a runoff next month, potentially with the balance of the U.S. Senate on the line. More than 88% precincts reporting Warnock and Walker in a virtual dead heat. Yeah, and of course, they've got you got to get, what did they say, 50% at least to avoid a runoff there in Georgia. And they had that Chase Oliver, the spoiler, picking up roughly 2% of the votes, they call him, the libertarian there. Too early to call races, including Nevada, Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona. That could determine which party controls the chambers, according to CNN. And closely watched Pennsylvania. This is the story that there's a couple of them that just make me say, well, look, I know there's a folks that expect it, especially some weird, wacky leftist weirdos expected this to be like a cry fest today. And that's just not how I operate. My peace, my hope, my joy is very simple. It doesn't come from elections. It doesn't come from elected officials. It doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from someplace entirely altogether different, much higher. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, especially on a day that I think we could use it. Trump-backed Republican J.D. Vance won Ohio's Senate race for the open seat of retiring GOP Senator Rob Portman. This all happening, and I know you're trying to wrap your head around it just as much as I am, but this all happening at a time when, what was the latest stat I read? Gallup did a poll. 81% of Americans unhappy with the nation and where it's heading. 81% of Americans say, no, we're on the wrong track. Got to get things back on track. What is happening? And yet, it's unthinkable in a lot of places, in a lot of cases, that they would say the governors who are incumbent, Democrats, Hochul, Whitmer, they would say that voters would say, yeah, no, if everything's fine, you stick around. We need more of that. Whatever it is that they've got going on. Hey, we need more of that. That's what we're looking for. Hey, McCarthy in the House talking about that. He thinks that Republicans, the GOP, are going to pick up a majority. You know, people asked me, they kept asking me last night, kept asking me, what do you think is going to happen? I said, I don't know. I can't tell you. In the states here, by the way, the proposals here in Michigan, all three passed. That's dismal. That's horrible. Particularly Proposal 3, not just about abortion, but I mean, how extreme. Some of the things that they're going to be able to do now. I just don't know. And another piece of the equation is it looks like the House and the Senate, for the first time, they're projecting will be Democrat controlled in Michigan. Hard left turn. So again, I'm looking at this saying 81% of Americans unhappy where the nation is heading, but they voted to go further to the left. Something just a little bit off there. We'll dig into that a little bit later on here this morning. I want to share some good news too, but this is McCarthy from last night.
Now let me tell you, you're out late, but when you wake up tomorrow, we will be in the majority and Nancy Pelosi will be in the minority.
Well, we're up, but that hasn't quite happened yet, has it? And I don't know if it does. I don't know how soon that's going to come, but that is the word, at least on the street. How about some of the things that happened that made people question? And all over, from Michigan and Arizona, there were issues with voting. There were issues with tabulators. There were issues with people going to vote in person and being told that they had already voted absentee. Folks, I don't care whether you're Republican. You're a Democrat and you love the results today. Come on. We can't continue this nonsense. We've got to get this right. And particularly in Michigan. We're still waiting on results. We're going to wait. We'll find out. Eventually, we'll get some of these all counted up and worked out. There was one polling place here in West Michigan that ran out of ballots. They told so many people showing up in person, they told them, oh, we don't have enough. Come back in an hour. Now, you told us for the past 2 years that we were crazy if we had any questions about what happened in 2020. You told us we were nuts. You told us we were wacky conspiracy theorists. You told us we were, election deniers. And I'm sorry, where there's smoke, there's fire, folks. This stuff isn't good for us. It isn't good for democracy. None of it is. Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing, Justin. Don't worry about that. That's nothing. Wait until your candidate is on the line or your cause is on the line and they lose, because now you may think, oh, we got it wrapped up now. This whole thing, this is not good for anyone. There should never be even a question of impropriety in any of these. And the number of emails and the folks I'm hearing from this morning that say they'll never vote again. I want to warn against that. I want to caution against it. It is not the route to go, folks. That's partly what they want. They want a situation where you just give up. And then you don't participate in the system. They want that. That's part of what this is all about. But we must continue. We must press on. We must fight the good fight. Hang in there, West Michigan. Hang in there, beyond. We'll continue our conversation. Some good news you'll want to hear coming up in just moments, too. It's West Michigan Live. We are back after this quick break.
When was the last time you gave your furnace some TLC? Keeping your...
All right, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Getter, YouTube, all the usual places, the behind-the-scenes live stream. I'll say good morning to a few folks. Christine, good morning. Pops, good morning. Melissa, good morning. What's up, John? I'm live the whole time, so that's so I don't ever get a break. But that's okay. That's how we like it. John Ilk is here, everybody. Say hi to John. He's the hardest working radio producer in the entire industry. How late were you here last night?
I luckily was able to automate.
Oh, good. So you didn't have to do the whole. You didn't. That's not too bad.
But I didn't sleep well because I got alerts on my phone.
And you were up here early. You had to be up here. Up at whoo.
Oh, it'll be later tonight because I got to do Griffins tonight.
Holy moly.
From Cleveland.
Miller J, good morning. Bones Mama, fired up Ginger, eyes wide open. Baseball junkie, good to see you over on the Rumble. Rumble. Nana K, Additive, Alex, Red Radical Realtor, good to see you too. Flatlander over on Getter this morning. Yes, I am wearing my I Need New Conspiracies. All of mine have come true sweatshirt. Available now. JustinBarclay.com, by the way. You can grab yours. I voted in this yesterday. I wore this to the polls. And I got some looks. And I think one or two of them were like, you thinking, I need to make him take that off. I actually got... I just got okay. Thank you, John. I just got another big breaking news update. Hang on, folks. Back on the air. Stand by. All right, folks. Charlene, I hear you. Folks watching a behind-the-scenes live stream happening right now. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Getter, YouTube, all those usual suspect places. Love to see you there. Our conversation continues. All right. Got some big breaking news. They just projected, my producer just told us, projected Dana Nessel as the Attorney General winner of the Attorney General. Now, it's projections. I don't necessarily see it going a different direction right now. DePerno did concede? Okay. But here's the thing about these projections. I don't know. I was watching last night and I saw that Fox News had projected Whitmer at 29% of the precincts reporting. Now they do see different data, but they report what they're seeing. So you got to wonder, what in the world? It was way too early. Same with Gibbs and some of these other races. That it's stuff like that that adds to the confusion and makes people go, wait, what? Wait a minute, what's going on? This woman out in Arizona, she was one that experienced part of the problem out there. Now this happened in Michigan too. From Michigan to Arizona, all across the country, there were these weird little glitches in the machines and the systems.
I don't believe
We're at this location and their voting machines are not working properly. They don't count the ballots. You go in to register, they give you a ballot, which takes like 20 minutes, which is ridiculous. You go in, you do your voting, you go in, you give it into the machine and it won't take it. It says misread ballot.
Now, that happened all morning long in Arizona, and there wasn't, it's the same person running the election in Arizona who's running for governor. She never decided to recuse herself. Katie Hobbs. There's another race, too, by the way. I said, look at this, and I go, and we're supposed to believe that Kari Lake is behind as we speak. But all of the excitement for Kari Lake and nothing for Katie Hobbs. She wouldn't debate her. She won't recuse herself in this situation. We're supposed to believe that everything's on the up and up there. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm at the North Scottsdale United Methodist Church on Tuesday, November the 8th, election day, and it's 10:33. I've tried to vote, and neither ballot machine will accept ballots. There's numerous people in line, and every time it's either rejected or misread.
Same story over and over across Arizona. So this is it. I thought about this last night. There should be no reason. We're at the point now. There should be no reason why we shouldn't be voting paper ballots, everything, one day of voting, not all these extra days. And of course, proposal 2 is passed, so all of this is out the window. But there really should be no reason why we shouldn't vote. Now, I say that. There will be court challenge, but probably even federal challenges to that proposal too. But same-day voting, not, election month or any of that nonsense. Same-day voting and same-day counting of the votes, everything on paper. They do it in France, folks. Of all places, they do it in France. Why can't we? It seems like it's just pretty logical that we should be able to do some of that here. Tim on the phone line. I'll talk to you this morning, too. You can jump on, grab a line, 616-774-2424. You can also sound off on the iHeartRadio app. Click that microphone button and rant, rave, ask a question. What else you'd like to do? Tim, good morning. How are you?
I'm real good, Justin. How are you? This is your LGBFJB community leader, self-proclaimed.
Tim, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
I got you, brother.
This is your LGBFJB community leader. I just got to throw that out there.
I heard you. So what's going on this morning, Mr. Leader?
Well, as I'm watching the tabulations and supposedly the big red wave, when I met Tudor Dixon, who is a very excellent candidate, my question to her was, Tudor, you will win the popular vote. How are you going to beat the chief? And she didn't have a real good answer for it, but now she's starting to understand exactly that question. My question is multiple. Number one, where Ron DeSantis told the FBI not to get involved, look what happened down in Florida. Yeah. Now, Michigan, has the FBI, whom went after one of our candidates, and they're down there overseeing the vote, and people can't understand that this is not right. I'm completely saddened, dismayed. Michigan is lost. I went from hanging my flag upside down to half-mast because I think Michigan is dead. Now, that don't mean that I'm not going to fight for it. I'm going to fight with every breath I have for Michigan, because that proposal 3 that they passed, if anybody touches my grandchild in a public school, Lord have mercy on their souls. Everybody who is involved, Lord have mercy on their souls. Because with proposal 3 going through, they can generally mutilate your children, and Michigan just signed on to it. Notwithstanding the fact that they can do infanticide when a child is born, and now they can kill them children. And I know, first off, thank you for taking the call. I apologize. I'm ramped up. I've had a little too much coffee.
It's okay. Tim,
we have a multitude of issues that Michigan has now got to overcome.
Hang on for a second, Tim. Hang on. I got to put you on hold for a minute. We've got to catch our news here, bottom of the hour. But I get the sentiment. I've been reading it and seeing it and hearing from you all morning, and I get it. But I want to give you some good news, too. Don't give up, folks. The fight continues, and the stories you won't hear anywhere else coming up after this. Hang on. All right, folks. Make sure you click share. People can hear the truth. They can hear the stories they won't hear anywhere else today, no matter what you're watching. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Getter, all those different places, even YouTube. For now. All the questions and comments about deep state plants and things like that, I don't know. I don't know if I would toss that stuff around, particularly just yet. I understand the frustration. But I will tell you that there are things at play here that we just don't even have a full grasp on just yet. A lot of it we do. A lot of it we can figure out. Some of the things that I've heard this morning and checked in on were that there was quite a turnout. There was quite a red wave for in-person day of voting. But it's not being overcome by a lot of folks, particularly let's just call them the mail-in, the absentee. So there's some of it that we're going to probably have to break down over the next coming days. Gene says, what's the good? Hang on, I've got good news. I'm going to tell you about that because it's a playbook to victory in the future. It's a playbook to wins. Laura, the caller will be back if I got a chance to bring him back in. I'll let more people talk. I will, but I have hard break on the news. So, but you can't get down. Now, I get it. Anybody, if you put, I'm going to have to talk about this. This is going to have to be on the air. But I'm just going to tell you now, if you put your hopes, your dreams, your faith, if you put it all in the what's in the world, that would be people and the government and elections and political candidates. You're always going to be let down. You're always going to be let down, folks. But if you put your hope, your faith, your joy, if it all comes from a higher place, a higher power, in my case, my faith, Christ, it comes from the Lord. It doesn't come from any of these yahoos in Congress or in Lansing or anywhere else. So keep the faith. I've got a special message for you coming up in a moment. We'll get to that. Plus, we're going to talk some good news. And the truth. The truth will set you free, folks. I got lots of folks on the phone line. I'm going to try and get to them all as well. All right. Somebody said, if we're being honest, the big winner in New York's race. Now, I'm going to save this for on the air because I think it applies to Michigan as well. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Hang on. Let me see. All right. I got talkbacks coming in too. Let me see if I can hear some of these real quick.
Result of the Obama generation. You've got too many self-indulgent crybabies out there who are more worried about their feelings than about the future and about.
Justin, this election was stolen again.
All right. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to play, but I think I can get to some of it. Hang on. All right, folks, here we go. Hey, John, make sure you tell callers to hang on. I got a guest here. I got to get through some good news, and we'll do that. Joe, give me a test 1, 2, 3.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2.
Yep, you look good. You sound good. Hang on one second. Be right there. Welcome back in, folks. You can join the program at any time. Lots to discuss. 616-774-2424. A filled phone bank. People trying to make it on the air. We'll try and get to that coming up here in just a moment as well. But folks weighing in last night on the election results and some that continue to trickle in this morning.
Justin, this election was stolen again. I feel it truly in my heart. I am sick to my stomach.
When you continue to have issue after issue with these voting, the machines and everything else, it's easy to understand how people get to that place. And, I can't blame you. I really can't blame you for that thought. How are we not? I mean, how is this even possible that we get somebody that comes in and says, yes, I voted. I tried to go vote in person, but yet they told me that I'd already voted absentee. How is that even possible without some sort of shenanigans happening? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Same day, all one day, paper ballots, easily trackable. Let's go back. And people have different ideas on how to do this, but you do that, and I think you restore confidence to the whole thing. It's a much easier way. France does it. Look at Florida. They had the results so early in Florida. And yet we're still waiting in some races and in some cases across the country. And, of course, who knows how long in Pennsylvania. But in Michigan, we're still waiting. Now, there is some good news. There is some good news. And I want to share some of that. Joe Moss joins us right now. He's with Ottawa Impact. Appreciate you being here with us. Joe, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Justin. I'm doing great.
You have really good news. You guys, Ottawa Impact, you're just a group of parents that got together, organized to come together and make a difference for your kids in Ottawa County in Michigan. And in fact, you did see that not only in the county commission races, but you saw that in some school board races as well. And folks, these are some that matter most because they're the most local. They're the ones that are in the closest proximity to you, and they can have a big effect when it comes in an impact, an Ottawa impact, so to speak, when it comes to saving your communities. So tell me what happened last night, Joe, and the little bits of rays of sunshine through it all.
Well, the sun is still shining here in Ottawa County, that's for sure. We had statewide election results that a lot of people are upset about, but locally here, we had a great night. There was the people of Ottawa have really spoken very loudly and come out and agreed with the message that we've been promoting. Let's defend our piece of America. It starts local, building from the bottom up, and so we saw. County commissioners win last night. 8 of our vetted candidates winning for the county, seated in January. So we're very excited about that for next year. And school board too. We're still looking at results to make sure we get the final numbers, but we had candidates win in Jenison and let's see, Allendale. And also, we had some parent picks, some other supported candidates in Hudsonville and Jamestown, other areas who did great and are waking up very thankful to the voters in Ottawa County for entrusting them to lead forward with conservative values. And so that's what we're going to do, and we're very excited about it.
Now, we also had some school board races throughout West Michigan. We'll pick some of those apart coming up in the next couple of days as well. But Forest Hills had a couple of folks that got across the Forest Hill schools, got across the line as well, it looks like. So those are some races that people had an eye on. They're not flashy. You're not going to hear about these, on the news, but Ottawa Impact, you got a lot of folks quaking in their boots, Joe, with some of this stuff. And apparently a playbook that can and will be used in the future across the state and across the country in some places.
Right. I mean, that's the hope. We want to see people dig in at the local level and make change, because that's where you really connect with people. And it takes hard work. But if you look at, let's say, Allendale School Board as an example, they started this process through, this is the 3rd cycle. 3 cycles ago, they ran candidates, not with, Ottawa Impact didn't exist, obviously, but they were getting to work and digging into their community, and they won a seat. And then, but they also lost another seat. Next cycle, they won 2. This cycle, they won 2. And now there's a completely different conservative majority on the Allendale School Board. And so some of these losses locally, they're not losses, they're really wins. We're setting a baseline, we're educating the voters, we're connecting with people locally. And from day one, we've talked about long-term solutions. That's what we have. There are no shortcuts. There are no short-term solutions. We're in what a lot of people have described as a culture war. You have the left coming out and demonizing just regular everyday Americans who are like school board candidates and county commission candidates.
Parents who just want to be going to the school board meetings and being involved. Yeah.
Right. And so, a big hurdle we've identified is we need a free and honest media. We need free and fair press, because even if we have conservative voices stand up all across, let's say our counties and locally, if they're just called extremists at every turn, well, that's a pretty big problem.
Yeah. Joe, any other rays of sunshine or glimmers of hope for folks that are watching this morning? I know it's a tough morning for a lot of folks, but you certainly have some there locally, Ottawa Impact. Anything else that you're seeing?
Sure. If I try to summarize, I'd say I'm very thankful to have received the benefit of working and serving directly with the people who have been very engaged in Ottawa and in other places around the state for the last couple of years. And I am amazed. I'm amazed at how churches have stepped up and gotten more involved than I've seen in the past. How people have started to find their voice and are using it. You know, you can't think that this type of work where you're looking at cultural change, we're looking at thought leadership and impacting people's ideas and what they believe, you can't change that overnight.
Yeah.
So if you thought you could, it's okay. You just need to reset your expectations a little bit and take everything that you learned up until now, win or lose, and move forward and keep doing it and do what you're responsible to do.
Yeah, you know, it's a good point. We didn't get here overnight. It took decades to get to this point, and many folks are still waking up. Some still haven't quite gotten there yet, apparently. But you know, it's going to take some time to fight back. We're just glad that you're staying in the fight. Joe Moss, we appreciate all you've done, Ottawa Impact. If folks want to get involved and maybe they want to find out more about you guys, how can they do that?
Yeah, so we'd love to stay connected and grow with the people we're connecting to. We are here to stay. So if you go to ottawaimpact.com, you can sign up for updates right on the homepage. But better yet, if you can donate $5, that tells us who our supporters are. We have a lot of people who have signed up who then reply to our emails with hate. So it's great when you know who you're messaging to. So if you want to stay involved and hear the latest and see how Ottawa County is going to lead for freedom and family next year and how we're looking to export those ideas outside of Ottawa County, then go to ottawaimpact.com and sign up.
Yeah. Special message coming up too, folks. More hope. I want to talk to you on the phone lines. 616-774-2424. Joe Moss, thanks for being here with us this morning. Okay. I've got a bank of phone lines ready to go. Lots of folks still there. Also, you like 616-774-2424. But I've also got the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. Just hit that microphone and rant, rave, ask a question, whatever you want to do. Let it fly. Thanks to the folks at MKD Funeral Homes. Back with you after this. Hang on. All right, folks. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. Let me see here. Let's check some of your comments too. Trying to go through what I'm getting in right now. Lots of messages this morning. Appreciate you sharing. Lots of people watching on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, YouTube, all of those different places. Big audience today, and we appreciate that. Of course, I don't take that for granted. My wife asked me some questions before I left this morning, and she said, as she was asking about, I don't remember exactly what it was. You know, everything's just flies when you have a little baby, you know, in the house. Everything's just kind of you're just trying to get from one place to the next. But I said, "Oh, honey, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about yet. I mean, I have the facts and I have the new pieces falling into place here and there. But I said, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about this morning. So I tell you, the way I look at this, all of this stuff, again, is pretty simple. We got to fight. We got to continue to fight. We put up a heck of a fight. And was it enough? I don't know. Was there shenanigans that just couldn't be overcome? You should see some of the. Let me read you some of the messages I'm getting this morning. Martha, I've had enough. I'm now actively looking for a job in Texas or in a project will be moving within the year. I cannot be in a state that flip-flops and now has no problem killing babies and messing with your children. I don't believe the election was up. And no, my vote does not count in Michigan anymore. Fred says, I got a feeling we're going to end up the next California, if not worse. Good morning, Justin. I've been listening to your show for maybe a year now. I really like the glass half full approach. Results of the polls are so very disappointing. My question is, what can we do to hold our elected officials to do what is best for all, not just their agendas? Keep up the good work and courage. Well, that's a great question, actually, Nancy. Very good question. Steffi says, I'm very discouraged about the election results. And a couple things happened last night when I went to vote. Oh, boy. Hang on. Let me get into this here in a second. All right. I'm going to do my best to roll through some of the phone calls here this morning, as many as I can, at 616-774-2424. And yes, we have Talkback feature audio to get to as well from the good folks at MKD. Appreciate that. Want to say thanks to the folks at Mentality for supporting the program. Mentality, a local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. Guys, have you ever felt like you got a little weight gain or muscle loss happening, low energy, motivation, feeling irritable, anxiety, depression, those kind of things? Turns out it could be your testosterone levels. But it might be an easy fix, a simple one anyway, and the folks at Mentality can help. When you feel like you just don't have the energy or drive to keep up with your kids' work, or maybe you just don't feel like you did 5-10 years ago. Could be those testosterone. Everything from environment to your diet, all kinds of things. Even age could weigh a bit of a role there. Anyway, Mentality's got FDA-approved testosterone treatment, board-certified physicians who work with most insurance. You can find out more and take your life back today, because we need you to be the best husband, the best father, the best you can when you show up in your calling at work or wherever it is on a daily basis. We need you in this fight. It's not over. Check them out at lowtusa.com. Go to lowtusa.com. That's low, the letter T, USA.com, and take your life back today. All right, so let me check. I got a couple of folks who are waiting patiently on the phone. Let me check with, I believe it is Dave in Kentwood. Dave, you're up next. Appreciate you joining us.
Yes, sir. Hi, Justin. Of course, what you said earlier about paper ballots, one-day voting, that's a very good place to start. And personally, I don't believe we've had good governance in this state since John Engler, and of course we had a balanced budget. But the other thing is that Proposal 2, Proposal 3, that's frightening. I mean, Proposal 3, that's not a life-enhancing That's not a life-enhancing culture. We're going to have the most lax abortion regulations in this state. And if people had read through the proposal and understood exactly what it was talking about an individual, not a mature woman or an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at the other side of the coin, chaos enhancing culture with this proposal. So I'll leave it there. And the further we move away from a Christian ethos in this society, it's not going to get any better. And your man was right earlier from the Ottawa County. It's a long battle, and to define it as a culture war, well, that's appropriate. It is a culture war, and we have to keep stabbing away at it.
The battle may have, it may not have gone to us yesterday, but the war still is underway. And I appreciate, Dave. Thank you for calling in this morning. Thank you for your keep up the fight, folks. That's part of what we've got to do. We've got to keep up the fight. There are so many people with so many different, and they feel differently about it. Every one of them does. I'm getting emails from people. This is another one. See what happens when nothing's been done to the system since 2020. Everything that has come out, like the Mules movie and so on and so on. Steve says all 4 lost. Dixon, Matt, Christina, John Gibbs, all proposals passed. He said Michigan has some serious issues. And the other thing, you still brainwash people out there who I know of who voted to pass all 3 proposals and still voted for Whitmer. When will they wake up? 80% say they don't like the direction of the country right now. That's a good point. When will they wake up? Where's the red wave? Somebody else writes, our company is moving out and we can't take Michigan governor's rules anymore. Anyways, 9 employees will be laid off in the next 2 months. Thank you, Michiganders. Wow. Mark says, after this dismal election results in Michigan, I see no reason to ever vote again. See, this is the dangerous part. We got to be careful about this. I understand it. I understand taking a day to feel like this, and I understand, but when the fight continues, it says if these people are satisfied with the people who they voted for, I'm neither a Democrat or a Republican, but sorry, the Democrats won after trying to change this nation. I feel sorry for the state and the nation as we move forward, but I won't vote again. If people want this, then they can have it. I won't waste my vote for nothing. The biggest winner. How about this one? The biggest winner. I saw this tweet earlier this morning, and I got a little chuckle. In New York's governor race was U-Haul. You might be able to say that about Michigan, too, unfortunately. And the Fetterman thing is very strange. How does a guy can't even talk win a Senate race, they're saying? I don't know, but it's not the strangest. Coming up in the after show, yes, there'll be one. A bit of an after show. You can follow us there at Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Getter, YouTube, all those places. But the strangest race in Pennsylvania wasn't the Fetterman race. I've got a little bit more on that you're not going to want to miss coming up here in just a little bit. But first, before we go, like I said, I want to give you a little bit of hope, a little bit of encouragement, and I'll talk a little bit more about this coming up here in just a little bit. But this is a little bit of hope and a little bit of encouragement from a man who said, and you'll all be familiar with, the man said, it's not time to give up. It's not time to tuck your tail and run. Don't do that just yet. No. In fact, when is it time to give up? He says, never. The late, great Rush Limbaugh.
We are not sunk yet. We will never surrender. We will never give up. Never, never, never. It's not who we are. It's not what we do. We never give up.
Never panic. It's never time to give up on America, according to Rush. I would echo that sentiment, folks. I talked about this off the air, but my hope, my joy, it doesn't come from the government. It doesn't come from my circumstances. It certainly doesn't come from any of the weirdos in Lansing or Washington, D.C. My hope, my joy comes from a higher place. And I'm reminded in times like this, what it means to be a happy warrior, what it means to be someone who can fight with a smile on your face, is that no matter what happens here, God is still on the throne. You and I, we're just called to walk out whatever it is that he's put, the path that he's put in front of us. That's why days like today I know can be really hard for some, but I'm reminded to keep my eyes on Jesus. And it's not hard because I have a little girl at home. Two of them, in fact. One that's just a week old, and I held her yesterday. I put the I voted sticker on her. I did. I voted for her. I voted for both of my daughters. I voted for all of the kids. Their future is on the line. What's at stake in this state and in this country, what's at stake is far greater than any of us can ever imagine. I continue to pray for them and our nation that we leave behind. They are so precious. I trust that God will lead us down the right path. And even while we're lost in the desert, folks, or in the state of insanity, chaos, and craziness that swirls in a place like Michigan, or in Biden's America, I trust that God's going to give us what we need each and every day. Give us this day our daily bread. Don't forget, God is still on the throne, folks. I appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today. Our after show kicking off in just moments. You can stream with us live. We've got more to dig into. We'll talk more about these races and what happens next Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble, Getter, YouTube, all the usual places. Back tomorrow morning, God willing, at 9:06. Make it a great day, folks. God bless.
The news is next on Wood Radio.
Okay. Let me click a few buttons, and then we will get this after show started. Oh, man. I know there's a lot of people that wanted to talk. We didn't get to everybody on the phones. But if you want to shoot us a message on the iHeartRadio app, I will try to go through those. Thank you, Jesse. She does look like me. You know, she actually looks like her cousin, Lizzie's nephew. No denying that, sweetheart. That's right, Judy. Yeah, there is no denying that one, is there? But Ada was the same way, and it's funny how they change. You probably see this in your kids too, but they're constantly changing. And so some days she looks like me, some days she looks like Lizzie, and some days it's just funny how that works, isn't it? Funny how that works. All right, hang on one second. Welcome to the after show. It's the show after the show. That's why they call it the after show. Never a dull moment. Every day there's something new happening, something exciting. And boy, oh boy, this would be one of those days. Lots to talk about. Lots to discuss. We'll get into all of it this morning. Appreciate you being here with us. The stories you won't hear anywhere else. Mary, I've seen his post. Maybe it was you a couple of times today in the chat. God failed. Here's what I want to remind you. That's not true. There were many at the time that Jesus came around that just did not recognize him and didn't think that he was the Messiah because they were looking for something different. They were looking for someone, a king on earth that would come and win military battles and that would fight for Israel, fight for the Jews. But he wasn't that type of Messiah. In fact, he had something else that he came to do. God didn't fail. God doesn't fail. He always wins. I don't know what the purpose is. I don't know why we're going through what we're going through. Other than I can tell you is that, when you read through the Bible, you read through end times and you talk about in Revelation that he would allow certain people to be deceived. He would allow them to be deluded. There are things that he allows that we just can't wrap our heads around. And we're not capable of it. But he gives us free will. A God that would make us worship him or not give us free will, probably we would not be worth worshiping. So we have free will. That plays into this process. Maybe folks in Michigan and throughout the country made certain decisions. I don't know. Still too close to call in the House and the Senate, it looks like. Who knows where those races come out? But I want to tell you why yesterday I had a piece. It's the same reason I had a piece when our little girl, born at 27 weeks, was there in the NICU. It's the same reason I had peace the whole time. Because I know that God is on the throne. And if you're struggling with this today, I want you to pick up my book, Good News. Hope and Encouragement for Trying Times. I've been listening to it recently. because I'm in the middle of writing the follow-up. More good news. And I know today's a rough day. Today's a day that, maybe you just want to be upset. Maybe you just want to, scream the top of your lungs. Maybe you want to yell at God. I understand. I'm not telling you. I'm just saying. I get it. I've been there. But the peace I have now comes from a different place. The peace I had when that little girl was in the NICU, born at 27 weeks, it is indescribable. Randy says, it's a crappy birthday. Happy birthday. Everybody in the chat, tell Randy happy birthday. Hey, I forgot about that. Today is his birthday. And he's only like 65 today. I'm kidding, Randy. Hey, man, at least you get the discounts, right? When you're going, the coffee and the movies and the Randy gets some discounts here and there. No, that's good. That's good. So I want to tell you, the fight will continue. Ruth says Prop 2 and 3 are on Constitution. There's still a fight there. That is, I think there is going to be some Supreme Court. And right now we still have the Supreme Court. 54, bro, he said. Yeah. Tell it to the judge. So we've got a lot. There's a lot still on the horizon. There are many, many, many things that are pieces of good news still to be found within this day that happened yesterday. And people were saying they expected a red wave, a tsunami, etc. I didn't know what to expect. I told you we had to get people out in numbers like we'd never seen before. And I think we did a lot of that same day. The question is, was the absentee or the mail-in, was that enough to overcome it all? Whether it was real, legitimate, or not. And then what was done in the meantime to persuade or dissuade, people from the actually taking place in the vote? There were people that had issues all across the country. There were people in Arizona that had issues. People here in Michigan that had issues. There's one particular video I saw. I said, nothing's working. This was in Arizona. I know. It's just, I don't want to belabor all this stuff, but because you know it, you've seen it all. Jane, that's why I kept warning. I kept saying, I kept saying, I go, wait, folks, I know it's a lot. You're feeling confident. There's a lot of good things happening, but I said, we got to get out there and vote. You have to, the best way to put this is you have to play at such a level that you can overcome anything that you're fighting against. You have to have such a landslide, but particularly in the places where things haven't been fixed. You saw what happened in Florida. How much did DeSantis win by down there? Big numbers. Anyway, this is the clip from Arizona. Take a listen.
I put my ballot in, but so it got misread. But then what was happening?
You put it in there.
Yeah.
And tonight, a Republican and a Democrat will sit and go through all of the misread ballots all over the county and count them. And
now she feels very confident about this and that this is going to happen. And everything's going to be great. The way she's been probably describing this every day. And you can tell they're in a church, and she's probably a really nice woman. But who believes anything that she just said? Oh, so you're telling me that the machine didn't count it, but it's going to go in this box, and then everything will be counted, and then everything will be, it'll be completely fine. There'll be no issues. Oh, my goodness. Folks, Ron DeSantis won in Florida by almost 20%. 20%. He won 59.4 to 40%. 20% is how big a margin of victory it was for Ron DeSantis down in Florida. That's incredible. Poll said Tudor was in the lead. Don't trust any poll. Yeah, that's the other thing. I kept saying that. I said, we got good polls, but you can't trust them, even when they're going in your way. In fact, the latest poll came from Trafalgar. It was showing she was winning by 0.3 or something percent. Yeah. Orlando was blue? Yes, Orlando. These are the, when you're looking at the blue areas, these are the major metropolitan, these are the urban centers. Miami, Tampa, Orlando. I don't know what this is. Is that Jacksonville? No, that's Jacksonville. That's red. Wow. Tallahassee. But look at the red state, free state of Florida. Well, folks thinking about packing up their U-Hauls. Kristi Noem won by more. I saw she had a good she had a good result too. Let's see. Let's go back and see. Let's see what they say for Kristi Noem. Oh, it's Google, so who knows? You trust me. 62% to 35%. Wow. That is ginormous. She beats her opponent, Jamie Smith. So, you talk about red waves, et cetera. It looks like red waves showed up in certain places. Dade County flipped to red, Judy Wright said, down in Florida. Interesting things. So, again, we are going to be talking about this, dissecting it all, I'm sure, for days now. Oh, yeah, Sarah Huckabee Sanders won. That was another good one. Another big one. One of the things that folks have asked at a very good point is, how do we hold these people accountable? We are going to be on them. And the same energy that you took when it came to campaigning for these folks and voting, et cetera, that same energy, folks, we've got to take that same energy and we've got to apply it to holding these folks accountable. They've got to hear from us, Congress or folks in Lansing, no matter where it is. To me, some of the crazy, I mean, this doesn't make sense to me in my mind, just logically does not add up. Gallup poll, 81% of Americans unhappy with where the nation is heading. High prices for food, gas, and other essentials were at the top of mind. I think this is CNN for voters as they cast ballots in this year's midterms, according to preliminary results, national and state exit polls. Around 3/4 of voters nationally said the economy is poor, not good. And the same said the inflation, which has hovered around 40-year highs, has caused them severe or moderate hardship. It's just, I don't know. To me, it's just really hard to believe. Again, I'm a guy who questions things. The narrative, whatever it is that we're being told on a daily basis, I didn't ask questions about them, and it kind of gets me in trouble here and there. But I look at that and I go, okay, things are so bad, but people are saying, no, we want more of this? That just doesn't add up. Does that add up for you? Yeah, no. Things are so bad, we want more from the people who made it this bad. I don't know. Exit polls conducted at CNN and other news networks by Edison Research are in line with pre-election polling as well as consumer confidence surveys. This, in any election, midterm election year, would have been a shellacking already. Would have been a really bad result for Biden. You put on top of it the horrible economic results that we're seeing right now, everything that we're seeing with the economy. And I think it all adds up to folks rightfully questioning what the heck happened. Now, there are reports, and in fact, Christina Caramo, candidate for Attorney General here in Michigan, mentioned this. Last night, I saw this report. It is very strange. I will try to reach out to Christina or maybe, in fact, Pat Colbeck to come on and talk about. But here's what they were reporting. And here's her statement on it out of Ann Arbor. Is another just a wild, wait a minute. What happened? She says, we will not tolerate the lawlessness of the Ann Arbor city clerk. Here is what she said. Now, by the way, these people aren't going away. If you think some of these folks that have raised up for such a time as this are going anywhere, no, they're not going away. Well, that's part of the issues that they've seen in the past. These people, they run for office and they go away. And that's not going to happen here. Trust me, these people aren't going away anytime soon. You think Carrie Lake's going to just crawl back under a rock if she loses? No, she hasn't. But if. No. Tonight, the Ann Arbor City Clerk, she writes, broke several election laws. Please see below several election law violations. When the polls closed at 8 p.m., the clerks continued to allow people to enter the line to vote. They refused to correctly identify the voters who arrived before 8 p.m. and seal the line. The clerks were still registering voters at 10:30 p.m. One lady claimed her absentee ballot had not arrived from Colorado. She now lives in Michigan and turned up to the polls and voted. A second lady with a registered address in Antrim County and a driver's license in Okemos turned up after 8 p.m. and was allowed to vote absentee. MCL 168.765 subsection 5 requires city clerks to post the absentee ballot totals by 9 p.m. MCL 168.759 subsection 5 prohibits the registration of an absentee voter after 4 p.m. the day before the election. This clerk was not registering them, but she was also providing absentee ballots to voters. When concerned citizens contacted the Ann Arbor police to inform these of these election law violations, they were informed they had no jurisdiction to investigate election crimes or enforce election laws. Well, who the hell does? I know that's the question you're asking. Who does? We're told that you see something, say something, call the police, and then they don't do anything about it. The Ann Arbor city attorney admitted they had no way to identify who was in line or who was registered. They stated they followed guidance from the Secretary of State. And said they were doing everything the right way. They would not state if that guidance was verbal or written. It's time for the media, she goes on to say, and the legal system to stop the demonization of hardworking Americans who have witnessed problems in our election system. We are not election deniers or threats to democracy. We are concerned citizens who are deeply concerned that fraud is happening and it is nullifying legal ballots. This is a real threat to our society as it demoralizes citizens to believe that voting is pointless as their legal ballot will not be nullified by fraud. And that's exactly what I've said to you and read from you, various different people who reached out this morning. Tim, why did the Republican-led Supreme Court decide on Roe versus Wade months before the election? Well, it wasn't Roe versus, it was Dobbs. And the reason all of that happened, you have to realize, again, was the leak from the Supreme Court. Now, I don't know that that played a role or didn't. We'll have plenty of time to go through that and break it down. But as it stands, we have, again, another election where people have questions. And as they mentioned, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong. For people to want to ask questions, for people to get together and say, hey, what about this? Last night, John Gibbs at his campaign headquarters, folks there gathered round inside to sing God Bless the USA. Oh, we've got a volume issue. Hang on, folks. Let me get this back up for you.
Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. And that I love.
Very beautiful moment. A very beautiful moment. We are going to continue to hear stories and, of course, break the things down over the next couple of days that happen all across the country, folks. I honestly, I don't have the answers for you on all of it yet. I will tell you to keep your eyes focused on a higher power. Keep your eyes on Jesus, because I believe that, anyway, where my hope comes from, my joy comes from, that you build your foundation on that. You can't take that away. Let me grab, I don't know where we're going here, folks. I don't know what's going to happen when I play some of these for you. But we've got unlistened to, these are ones that we haven't heard from yet. These are the talkback features. We are operating without a net right now. This is what where people can sound off on the iHeartRadio app. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Justin. Yeah, it's been a bit of a rough morning. I've had to cry and pray and read scripture and was led to Psalm 37. Just a great reminder that God is still on the throne. He is in control. He will overcome all evil. And we just need to keep that in mind as we go ahead and see what's in store for our state. Thanks for all you do.
Amen. Thank you for that message there, ma'am. And I don't know, is that doesn't give me a name here. Sorry about that. Some of these do and some of these don't. Let's see what the next one is.
Hi, Justin. I actually worked as an election inspector for the East Grand Rapids precinct. And I just wanted to make sure people knew that when they are flagged in the poll book as having received an absentee ballot, what we do is we call City Hall to verify that. If they have not turned it in, we can reject that absentee ballot and let them vote in person. So that's what we did here, period. Just wanted to know.
Now, and I understand the process, and I'm not discounting what you're saying. I'm just saying, how does that happen? How is someone flagged in the system as showing that they did, or someone did request an absentee ballot on their behalf? How are they able to do that and get away with it if these people didn't actually do it? I know there's a whole process to it, and they'll tell you that the ballot that that these let's say they did turn an absentee ballot, let's say that they'll spoil that ballot and it won't be counted. But my question is, how do we know? We know that?
Justin, the Republican Party in Michigan has left us. They have gone away from they're split between the rhinos and the establishment. There was no money, there was no support, there was nothing. It's time to get out of this state. That's why the National Republican Party has gone away from us too. My house is going up for sale. I'm done. We're a Democratic state now, and there's nothing but evil left here. So it's time.
Look, I don't blame you. I understand. I felt the same way.
This is Bernie. I just was wanting to input something about the Dominion voting machines and all the crooked stuff they do. I said that before. As long as they've got those machines and they got the algorithm, I said they can plug in what they want and rig the election. That's what they did in Michigan. They stopped reporting last night for hours. Same thing that happened in 2020.
Yeah.
Unless you can get rid of those machines and go back to paper ballots, we're screwed.
Great point.
Very upset about what happened with the election. And so I'm not going to fight them. I'm going to join them. I'm going to sign up for unemployment and food stamps.
Oh, no. If you can't beat them, join them. Yeah, I know. I get that. I get that feeling. Folks, don't give up. I know it's so tough. I understand. I get it. But I want you to continue to fight. Take a day today and say, just let it all out. Cry out to God. Maybe we hadn't hit our low point yet. I don't know. My question was this earlier. My honest question, how bad does it have to get? 80% said we're headed in the wrong direction. How bad? How bad does it have to get? Before people realize that it's time to stand up. That's assuming people didn't. That's assuming the results are on the up and up. Now, I think there's questions about a lot of these, and we'll continue to press and see if we can get answers to some of them. And, of course, we'll continue to let you know what we're seeing out there, and folks, we'll continue to fight. It ain't over till it's over, right? We continue to fight. I want to thank some of the folks helping make this show possible with all of the threats of where we're headed and who knows what's coming next. Talk about it, particularly the economy and some of the other issues. Preparewithjustin.com. Save $250 on a 3-month supply right now of the storable food. Who knows when that's going to come in handy for you. They got a Black November sale going as well. Over 24 items, save up to 67% on all of it. But make sure you're stocked up no matter what. You got a little bit extra for you and your family, and of course, for many others. Preparewithjustin.com. The folks at My Patriot Fly. Preparewithjustin.com. Well, folks, that's going to do it for today. The after show wrapped up, and of course, we will come back and talk more with you tomorrow. But remember, God is still on the throne. Don't let them get you down. I know that's what the purpose of a lot of this is to leave us feeling hopeless, helpless, and defeated. But you are not defeated. God is on the throne, and you fight from victory. Our battles are fought on our knees. Thank you for being here with us, folks. Back tomorrow morning, 9:06, God willing. Make it a great day. God bless. Men, we need you. I've been talking about the importance of men for quite a while now. Of course, culture will tell you, we don't need those men. Masculinity is toxic. But it's not true. Men, we need you. We need you to be showing up as the husbands, the fathers, and the men in your calling, the workplace that you were created to be. Maybe you're suffering right now. You got a little low energy, low motivation, weight gain, muscle loss, irritability, anxiety, and depression. Well, it could be low testosterone. And if that's the case, it's a simple fix. The folks at Mentality can help. Mentality is a local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. Yep, they can help you too. Get back on track. They've got FDA-approved testosterone treatments, board-certified physicians who work with most insurance companies. You can get a hold of them today. Check out Mentality at lowtusa.com. Go to lowtusa.com. That's low, the letter T, USA.com to take your life back today.